9.7 John Deere 72-inch deck, 31 horse Yanmar diesel. Today we're going to change the oil, air filter, fuel filter, clean the deck, sharpen the blades, change the hydraulic filter and fluid, and the transmission. Pretty sure you got to drain the transmission also. And if we're feeling real frisky, we'll probably change the gearbox diff fluid because it's been 2 years now. It's just a tiny little bit of oil and she takes a lot of abuse. So we'll probably started changing the oil and the fuel filters, the air filter. This Yanmar holds 1 gallon of 15W40 of whatever brand you prefer. I prefer John Deere or Rotel. It's a 19 millimeter head. It's kind of a bear to get a drain pan normally under here. I have to pick that up and slide her under. Your oil filter is right here. I run Napa Gold filters if I can. It's a 1064. Don't really need to buy John Deere brand when it comes to filters in my opinion. I do think you need to buy name brand filters and the better quality, but Napa Gold's good enough for me. Change it more often than not. It sure don't look like it though. I normally just take a goob right off the inside. Oops. Oh, get some new oil. Well, that oil's still in your motor. If I put it on my finger or it goes right back in the filter, what's it matter? Spin that puppy on. Snug. Looks like I'd probably use new sealing washer, but now you gotta get your fat little hands up in her. Get her started. Wipe your hands on the dog shit on the tires. Snug that baby up. Most Yanmars I've seen used in different applications always have like a couple fill holes. I prefer to use the top on this just because it's somewhat easier, somewhat not. The air filter's kind of in the way, but you can just unstrap that baby, slide her off to the side a little bit. One gallon untapped virgin 15W40. A lot of people I think go 100 hours on an oil change, but I usually try and do it like 50, 60 hours because I want to own this lawnmower for quite some time, and what's $30, $40 to change your oil? It's, you do it what, once or twice extra a year? If you're worried about a $40 oil change, you should probably quit mowing yards, but I understand you just shouldn't change oil every week, but I also like to take care of my things and stay ahead on my equity instead of just running the balls off of shit and having nothing left. I used to do that in high school. and a little while after high school too, and then I realized I wasn't gonna get anywhere doing that shit. We've got our 1 gallon chug-a-lugged in there. Maybe. Snug her up. Then we can come back over here. Oops. Check our oil. We put it back in so we get a nice clean, whatever you want to call it, accurate samples. It's a smidge over full, but it'll come down. Trust me. The filter. So, one thing to watch on your, let me see if we can get it here. 997s or any EMR. You guys see where that's been rubbed? This thing won't focus. See where that's been rubbed? I had been putting it in dipstick that way, and it was rubbing on the injector line. So if you put it in the back way, it sticks over here towards these, doesn't rub. You guys can probably see on the injector lines where it was rubbing. I'll probably just have a shitty day someday and those holes will blow out. They didn't really rub, but they rubbed the paint off, and once they start rubbing, sometimes it's a bad deal, but I didn't catch it soon enough. Oil change is done. Napa filter, 1 gallon, 19 millimeter drain plug. We'll move on to the air filter. It's pretty simple. Click, clack. Oh, God. Don't mind all that does. Pull her out. That thing's nasty. Fall is hard on freaking lawnmowers. The dust and the leaves. Napa 6438 air filter. This does have a internal, one of them little, here I'll just show you. One of these little guys. I don't really know how many hours these should be replaced at, but I replaced it when I first got it, so it's got 400 or 500 hours on it. But I change this every 50, 60 hours, so I should probably be changing it more often, but don't judge on the internet. Now these guys are supposed to face down, as far as I know, so that whenever you shut off, all the shit can fall back out. They'll kind of suck shut or whatever when you're running, but then when you shut it off, all the shit's heavy should kind of fall out. Well, this one can't fit any other way. There. Air filter's changed. You guys probably couldn't see through my big arms, but down here in the belly of the beast, right there. Let me get my finger right there. You can see that's just like a water separator sediment bowl. It's clean. I'd drain it maybe once or twice through the summer. If you ever have trouble getting fuel, those things can get full of algae and sediment and all nasty shit. If sometimes people get some algae and sediment and just fight those things forever, but we've had pretty good luck. So we are going to change the fuel filter itself up here now. It's a Napa filter. I'll tell you the number in just a second. I run a Napa 3390 fuel filter. Yeah. You can try and catch most of the shit, but it just runs everywhere. I just brake clean off the engine when I'm done. Take it to the car wash. You probably should take it to the car wash anyways. Get fuel freaking everywhere. I take this straight to the trash can. Take some goobs, put it on the O-ring, put it back up there before it drips shit anywhere else. Maybe. Cameras make me nervous. Snug her up there. We are ready to start it after pretty much servicing the engine. Didn't really take us that long. I normally cycle my key a bunch of times. Doesn't everybody just love that fucking beeper? Freaking beeper. Sorry. There you guys go. This has an electric pump. Some of them have primers down on the engine. Just like your old 12 valve, your VE 12 valve. Looking and just screwing off. Here's the transmission filter change instructions from the book. If anybody's interested, put a pan under there, take the filter off, transmission, drain plug, drain it, put a new filter on, put the plug back in, fill it up. That's what we're gonna go do. Here, fix this. I think I came right through here. And you can get a little grab on her. Just like so. And we're gonna... I learned I can turn the flash on, so there's a little bit better picture of what's going on. Still draining quite a bit out. 6 gallon in the old girl. I couldn't really believe that. And that is right behind your right rear tire. So this is the drain plug out of the bottom of the transmission. It's also a 19mm head. Sorry I didn't film much of it. You can't really see shit down there. It's hard to get to. Ended up using an extension to get to it. And I about overfilled my drain pan, taking the filter off the tank. So I will stick this back in there and we gotta fill her up with fluid. So we got our drain plug back in. That was a real fight. It's clear down up in there. It's hard to get your hands. The lines are in the way to where my fingers aren't long enough to get up there. So you have to put it up there with an extension. And you need to be pretty careful because a buddy of mine had a 997. Sounds like got a little cross-threaded. Tried taking it to the dealer to try and fix it with chasing the threads or whatever, and well, they ended up splitting the case with the tap or whatever. It ended up costing him and them money, I think, and just want to take your time, make sure you get it threaded up in there, because all it is a aluminum case. I mean, it's nothing freaking special. So this bad boy takes 6 gallons supposedly, so I'm going to put 4 in, check it. I changed the hydraulic filter before, and all I did was spun the filter off real quick and spun the new one back on, filter back up, and carried on. But I decided, since I got like 1,200 some hours on it, I bought it with 680 and I'm at 1150 now. And I don't know if the hydraulic fluid was ever changed before I got it or not. So that's why when I first bought it, still trying to pay for it, I just kind of threw a filter on it and carried on my way, because, well, money's money. So I've put almost 600 and some hours on this thing in 3 years. Things I've done to it. I've put all 3 idlers on the deck now, which is like less than $150 or something. I need a new belt, so I'm about out of tension on it, but they're $200 and some, I think, for a 72-inch belt, and they had one in stock when I went and asked, so I decided not to purchase it and have it on hand, but I'm sure they'll sell it the day before I need it. So 3 idlers on the belt, or on the deck. I've had 2 flat tires on the front from Wire at Anthony's yard. I put new tires on the rear. Those were expensive. That was like, I want to say they were $280 some a piece or something, or 250 some bucks a piece. I don't know, 200-ish bucks. I think it might have been like $400 for a set of back tires. Those are the same runs that were the same ones that run on like the big Ferris 3200s or whatever the freak them things are. The wire to the alternator, the crimping came loose on it. That was during the spring, getting it out. I started it. You can hear it sitting there zapping. I'm like, what the heck is that? And the freaking alternator wire just sitting there going back and forth out of its freaking terminal. Sitting there zapping and burning the terminal. Glad I found that before it burned down the lawnmower someday. When I first got it, I repainted the deck, took it all apart, and this lawnmower was cheaper because you could tell the thing had sat outside. I mean, it was an 09, and I bought it in 18 or 19, so it's 10 years old and only had 600 some hours. So somebody's only putting 60 hours a year on this big mower, and they'd obviously just left it sit outside because the deck was all rusty and crusty, and it's amazing what a few hours in the paint will do. Besides blades and filters, she runs freaking every day, no questions asked, balls to the walls. It's got 31 horse, and I like to use about 33 of them. A buddy of mine had one that's fighting it overheating a lot, but I make sure to blow out my radiator with compressed air. Like, if you're blowing them out with a leaf blower, it's never going to get them. You got to get an air compressor, a wand, because they suck a lot of freaking air and dirt in there, and they'll just pack tighter and tighter and tighter. A leaf blower is not going to blow that shit out. So the book says put in the 6 gallon, start it high idle or slow idle for like 3 minutes, drive it back and forth, check your fluid, you're done. I got 5 gallon in, and it's at the full mark. Sometimes you don't always get it all back in, but I'm just going to start it real quick, see if it drops it down real quick, fill in the filter and stuff, shut it off and check it, refill it, then I'll do the idle and move it back and forth stuff. See if I can get more in right away. Sometimes you go to start something and it instantly drops it down, so we shall see. So it was pretty much over full here, and now it has dropped, I don't know, maybe it dropped a quart or something filling up the filter. I'm fine with running it there anyways, so put this on, let it run for a bit, move it back and forth, see where it's at. So we're done with the engine, transmission. Now, every year-ish, I like to take off my gearbox, take off the belt, and spin all the pulleys, see what they feel like, see if they rumble. The deck is louder than when I got it, and I've replaced all the idlers we talked about. That one, and that one. But I still have the 3 spindles in the gearbox and the drive shaft. The drive shaft, you can tell, is kind of getting a smidge worn, but I grease it every couple weeks and keeps ticking. But I wonder if I don't have one of these spindles getting a little growly. So we will take the tension off here. Release that bolt. There's another one backside, right there-ish. And then we can pull the belt off, pull the gearbox off. We had 15 for these guys that walk. Huh. Do you guys see this guy hanging out here? Oh, he's crusty. Oh, he's stuck. You guys see this? I will give Jason $30 to eat this. Look at that, grasshopper. It's gross. But it's 15 millimeter. Right there, there's that little bolt right there that holds your drive shaft on your gearbox. So we will, oh shit, sorry. We will pull it out. I already loosened it before I took the belt tension off, just so it doesn't move around as much on me and stuff. And we should be able to wiggle. Maybe not. We should be able to tap. There we go. There, my drive shaft is loose. It can't. You know, you should always kind of keep your drive shafts lined up the way you took them apart. This can't, as long as I don't pull it out of the end, I'm not going to change it because it's keyed. And the gearbox is keyed, so it's going back the only way it can. And I got 2 bolts to remove back here, 2 bolts to remove up front, and we can just pick the whole gearbox and pulley and everything up. That's how I do it. I just take the whole bracket. Because these, I've had bad luck pulling bolts like that out of gearboxes, breaking off, and I think I tried to pull these out and they just felt really bad on one, so I just decided to take the whole deal apart. Okay, and here's Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Now this old hunk of turkey should just slide on out of here. Like so. Oh yeah. Catch you guys in a minute. So we've got the gearbox pulled out. I don't know what size this was. It was one that fit in there. Somewhat snug. I don't know which one I pulled out last time, but maybe that's a torch. I don't know. Let me try this one. See if it comes out any easier. And the blue. Oh. See, that was the one we had out of there last time. Oh, that's stuff. Oh, she's rank. Oh. Whew. So I like to take a pretty good look at this oil because how little of it there is in there. And if I'm going to have to buy a gearbox. Oh, that looks good. I don't know if you guys can see that from my big old arm, but I'll let that sit there a minute. I'd say most people probably ignore this gearbox majority of the time. As far as I know, this gearbox service isn't really covered under any John Deere maintenance. Like, you call and say, I want the lawn special. As far as I know, most places don't do this. Unless it's asked for, like an added service, because I never really changed very many of them when I worked at John Deere. So if I was you, I would change this. These gearboxes are, I think, $1,000. I don't know. They just told Matt out of John Deere. Just told me he bought one for his 3000 series lawn and garden tractor. I think he said it was a short $1,000. I thought that looks pretty nice. There's not a whole lot of oil in there, people. So that's pretty much it there. Clean this up. I don't know what's supposed to be in there. 80, 90, 85, 140, blah, blah, blah. If you're changing it every couple years, I would say it doesn't matter. I can look in the book. We'll get back to you. Just a minute. So the book says 0.34 quarts or 0.325 liters. So that would be 325 milliliters, correct? If I was taught the shebanglish. But either way, it's probably not going to take all that, but I figured we'd pump it in and kind of see how much, if we could tell what we got in there. But we will be ready with the drain plug after we get it. There's nothing really on the drain plug, but see what we get pumped in here. Oh, great. This thing really works nice. Oh, there we go. So we're just now pumping it in, and we're a smidge below 400. You guys are still on the screen there? I don't really like to get too excited putting it in, because this stuff takes a while to, well, not takes a while, but it does settle a little bit, so I don't just like to see it coming out and throw the plug in it real quick. Take my time and make sure it's actually all pushed back and in there. If not, you'll end up a lot lower than you think you are. But I think I can kind of see it, maybe. So we've got 100 milliliters in it. There's 200 milliliters. Oh no. Oh, rats. Oh, rats. It's hard to... I'd say we're there anyways, folks. Yes. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys can see, but when I tilt it this way, see we're running out. So that was, we got 225, and it's supposed to have 325, so short 100. But we know we didn't get it all out of there, and I didn't really try because the oil was pretty clean anyways. I don't think I'm going to put the drain or the plug back in with an impact. I should have probably put some thread sealant on it though. But to each their own. If it leaks, we can pull it out the side. We don't have to take it off to drain it. So I will throw this back on. You guys probably don't need to see me put it back on because you watch me take it off. So I got my deck gearbox all back on, belt retensioned. I went ahead and greased the lawnmower. There's greaser on these support bars. I don't know, they're kind of look like traction bars a little bit, but it's greaser there. Greaser on all three spindles on the deck. Greaser on both front casters. The drive shaft has 3 greasers. There's one on this U-joint. There's one on the slip right there. And then there's one in the back joint. And then there's also a little surprise one that's up here on your deck height adjustment dealy-mabob. There's a greaser there. Makes spinning this guy quite a bit easier, and I never knew about it. But it's pretty much the end of the video. End of the day. 997's pretty sweet. One huge deal, I would get an electric deck lift. If you're trying to lift this freaking, well, it's electric over hydraulic. It's got a hydraulic cylinder, but I ran one of these for a few days for my friend. His was manual. Made a long freaking day mowing stuff. You know, you're always trying to pick up to go over uneven spots in the yard and stuff. I thought it would be easier with the manual lift to float up over stuff and make it look a little nicer. I still prefer the electric. You can pretty much just do it off your speed, and I don't ever worry about it. But one other thing I did do, I replaced this suspension part underneath this. The bushing was all worn out. It was going to be like $600 and some through John Deere. They were nice enough to give me the part number. Went online, like eBay, found like tractorseats.com or US, pretty much the supplier, for like $127. So save yourself $400 or $500. Do your research on your suspension seats. That's pretty much all I got to say. Thanks.